Hello everyone, different surroundings for my last slice of the year and a different theme as well because, well, we're winding down, aren't we, just for a little while. Not about property this time, but as my one nod to the day job in this edition, a question at the time of the year that you often get asked around the office is, what is your favourite Christmas song? Well, in the 1970s, when I was a child, anyone's answer would have been a carol. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, or Silent Night, or In the Bleak Midwinter, perhaps. When you walked around the department stores in the 1970s, the only music you would hear would be carols. In the supermarkets, I don't think you would hear music at all. It just wasn't the done thing. In the 1970s, though, something was building. John and Yoko, Slade, Wizard, Mud, Greg Lake, Johnny Mathis, Boney M, Wings, in that order, to 1985 with the release of the first Now the Christmas album. Christmas pop music usurped the carol as the soundtrack to the British Christmas. Which is the best Christmas song in the now familiar pantheon of the modern day Christmas song? Well, most Christmas singles are pure fluff. In the main, they're either insipid love songs such as Mariah and Wham, or they're list songs just ticking off festive imagery with the speed with which one plucks celebrations from the tub. And the list songs include my namesake's Merry Christmas Everybody, Shakey's Merry Christmas Everyone, Ed and Elton's recent Merry Christmas, and Cliff's Mistletoe and Wine. My three favourite Christmas songs are not only great tunes, but lyrically, unlike those just mentioned, they offer something less frivolous, something more unique, cleverer, deeper, for which they're all the better. In third place for me is The Pogues with Fairy Tale of New York from 1987. Shane MacGowan is an Irish immigrant on Christmas Eve, recovering from a bender in a drunk tank in the Big Apple. He appears to dream of Christmases past when he and his girlfriend, or wife, emigrated to New York, full of optimism for a city with rivers of gold where he promises Broadway, but where things degenerate into the famous scumbag maggot slanging match. But with Shane still yearning for his love at the end. Can't make it all alone, I've built my dreams around you. It's a duet, but very much from Shane's point of view, with Kirsty MacColl seeming to be a figure from his past, recalled in his drunken reverie, and Kirsty's untimely death in real life therefore adds a lot of poignancy. Now, the halcyon days of the Christmas single were the 1970s and 1980s, but my runner-up is perhaps the only great Christmas single released this century, and it's Christmas Lights by Coldplay. As in the Pogue song, Chris Martin has had an altercation with his young lady, another fight, and with poison in his blood, he takes a trip to Oxford Street, where either there or in some mystical haven down where the sea and the city meet, he has an epiphany under the Christmas lights, which may bring them back together. The track is three different movements in one, with the most moving being the ending where Chris sings, "May all your troubles soon be gone, those Christmas lights keep shining on." Listening to that bit always offers a ray of hope that Christmas might solve everything, no matter how difficult a year you've had, but it's a bittersweet feeling as you realise you felt the same listening to it the year before, and that any respite the festive season offers is merely ephemeral. My all-time favourite Christmas song is Stop the Cavalry by Jonah Louie from 1980. For those of you who weren't around at the time, it's that jaunty marching song, the one with the bugle at the start and the brass band at the end and the sleigh bells after the money line, "Wish I was at home for Christmas." It's a great song. A war song which is not anti-war, but which is about the physical pain of war, from marching from the enemy in the cold, and the emotional pain of separation from loved ones. It's very clever lyrically, as it's told from the point of view of an unknown soldier marching through time, down throughout the centuries, straddling different wars, even within the same lines of the song. So the cavalry itself recalls the Crimea, perhaps. But then the unknown soldier's love, Mary Bradley, waits at home, conjuring up images of the First World War sweetheart waiting for a letter with good or bad news. But she's waiting in the nuclear fallout zone. In another line, another bomb falls on another town while the Tsar and Jim have tea. The Tsar again recalling the Great War, but his tea companion being either Jimmy Carter, who was president when the song was written, or Jim Callaghan, who was Prime Minister when the song was written. Clever, lovely, and with all the familiarity of a warm mince pie. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in January for a more conventional property slice.